everybody. It's Laura. How are you today? I have something fun to show you. So give me a minute here so that I can get signed on. Okay, there I am. I'm going to wait just a minute to see if anybody's going to join us today. I'm sure there'll be some people that do. Boy, I don't know about you, but it has been a morning here in beautiful Canton, Ohio. It's just been crazy, one thing after another. So I'm actually looking forward to doing some crafting and sharing with you today. So what I want to show you, look what I have. This is our brand new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine from Stampin' Up, and mine arrived, I guess it was last week, maybe the week before, but it's beautiful. I love it. I love white things. It's just a clean look. Most of my house is white, or I like neutral colors, I guess I should say. So it's a pretty neutral, and let me just turn it and show you. It's great for storage. It doesn't take up a lot of space, and it just opens up like this. How cool is that? Okay, so I want to show you one of the things that I love about it, besides the fact that it's cutting really, really well, is that Stampin' Up! Has made this really simple to use, because as you can see, our plates are numbered. And actually, let me bring this one in here. This is plate number 4, which I'm not using today, but this is for, you would use this when you're embossing with our 3D embossing folders. But for what I'm doing today, it's so easy. So what you're going to do is you will look at this as kind of your guide. And so I'm cutting a die, and if I was doing an embossing folder, I would look for the picture of the embossing folder, and that helps you know what kind of plates to use. Here's the one for the 3D embossing folder, and it shows you're going to use plate number 4. But what I'm doing today is going to be this first example here, and I'm going to be die cutting something. So what I'll do is I'm going to start with platform number 1, which is this one. Then I'm going to add platform number 2. So let me pull that in here. That's this one. Then I'm going to add my 2 clear cutting plates and to create my sandwich. So I'll need 2 of those. That's number 3. And in the middle of these, I'll add my sunflower die, and then I'll top it off with the other one. So I'm going to line these up and just crank this through. And if this is, I'm at a kind of a weird angle, but I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to go through, and then I'm going to come backwards. This is a pretty detailed die. Okay, I'm going to fold up my machine and get that out of the way. Look how quick and easy that is too. A lot to love about this new machine. Okay, so let me bring in my sunflower. This is a pretty detailed die, and so let's see how we did. So that part pops out really easily, and then I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop these, and look how easy these are, all just popping right out. It's going to take a minute just to pop these, but I am not having any trouble with this at all. I love how easy this is. They're all just popping out. Okay, I think I got everything. Oh, here's 2 I missed. Let me go and get those. Okay, and those are good. That little one right there. I think I'm gonna have to pull this up, but anyway, look, this pops right out, and that one I couldn't get my pick in. So there's that. Look how easy that is. I love this die. This is one of my favorite dies. This is from the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle, and you know what? I'm gonna move this down a little bit now that I've taken my my cutting machine out of the way so you can get a little closer view at what I'm doing. Okay, whoop. All right, there we go. And I crinkled up everything using that machine, but love this die. Love sunflowers, and I have 2 cards that I'm going to make using this die. And you know, sunflowers, I think when we think of sunflowers, we think of white and, or I'm sorry, we think of yellow and, you know, different shades of yellow, the black-eyed Susans and the regular big sunflowers, but I am actually not doing anything in yellow today. I'm using a white one, which could be maybe a big daisy or something like that. And then we're even going to do a pink one, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So let me pull out my pieces for this kit. We're going to create a frame. And this is a card that I posted on my blog. I believe it was on Friday. It's been in the past couple days. Okay, so let me get all these, everything that I need here. And what I'm going to do is create a frame. I took a piece of Whisper White cardstock and I used the Stitch So Sweetly scalloped rectangle to create this frame. And this is thick Whisper White cardstock. Let me grab my bone folder. And I'm just going to frame up this sunflower in that frame. Okay. Here's my adhesive. And I'm just going to attach this. This is from the Ornate Flowers Specialty Designer paper, and the paper is gorgeous. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. Now to do the frame, I'm going to flip this upside down, both the frame and the sunflower, and I'm going to position the sunflower on the back of the frame and just use some mini dimensionals. And what I want to do is catch the edge of the die on the frame to hold it in place like that. Put one right there. These are not going to be seen, so that's good. And then I'm going to take, all I need is 3 at one side. Then I'll take some additional dimensionals and put them on the corners here. And then I also want to add a couple on the back of the center part, the more solid part of the sunflower. Okay, that should be good. Then I'm going to flip it over and you can see how it's just kind of floating in that frame. I think it's really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can do this, pull these backs off this way. Yep. This is a great tool. If you don't have this, it is really great. It does a lot of different things. It has a couple different tips on it, and it just is nice to use. Okay, get those off there. And I don't know, did I get that one? Nope, that's still there. Okay, so there's that. Got them all off. And I'm going to go ahead and position this. I'll center it on my designer paper. Like that. And then I'm going to just stamp a greeting. This is pretty crooked, isn't it? My finished one, actually, you know what? It's not bad like that. I kind of like it. Let's just pretend like I did that on purpose, right? Okay, and then I'm going to take my... this is terracotta tile ink, and I just pulled that color from my designer paper, and I'm going to stamp Thanks a Bunch. This is from the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. Go ahead and stamp this. I'm going to take my paper snips and I'll just flag the end. And to do that, I start in the center and just go up a little ways and then just angle my scissors this way. Hey everyone, thanks for joining in and watching. Appreciate it. Okay, so there's that little part, and then I'm going to take some braided linen trim and I'm going to just tie a bow. At the last class I offered, we actually made this was one of the cards that we made, and one of the sweet ladies that came videotaped me making bows. She says she's bow challenged, but we practiced and practiced, and she videoed me making one, and then she became an expert, so she was super excited about that. I think people get intimidated by making bows, but I think you just practice, and practice makes perfect. Okay, so this is just going to go on here like that, and then we'll attach it to our frame. And I'm going to attach it, actually I'm going to put a glue dot on both sides of this frame so that will just hold this banner in place. So that's going to be, I'm going to put it down there just so that whole frame shows. We'll just catch a little bit of that edge. Okay, so there's our first card. What do you think? Oh, and you know what? That's not right. I forgot to add an embellishment. These are the frosted epoxy dots. They are an embellishment in our annual catalog, and I always want to add a little bit of bling. So I'm going to take the other end of my take your pick tool, and I'm just going to pick this up and put that right there. Whoop. To just finish the card. So there's card number 1. Okay, and then card number 2 that I want to make today. You know what, and I am not seeing comments. I'm not sure why, but I need to figure that out. But I will reply to all your comments when I'm done with this. So I'm sorry about that, and just bear with me. Okay, all right. Card number 2. This card, oh, and you know what, I should say, let me go back to this card a minute. I forgot to say that I did this, I think I did say this, I posted this on my blog a couple days ago, and if you go to my blog, which is lauramilligan.com, I have a PDF for this, and you can go ahead and print it up and make a copy of it so that you can recreate this card. It includes all the measurements, and all the supplies that are used. So that's a little free tutorial for you. All right, the next card we're going to use, let me get all my parts and pieces out. I had two kits in this packet here, but here's my pieces. Now this sunflower, let's see how we do with this one. I've already cut this ahead of time, and I'm just going to pop these out real quick. You know, I've noticed that some of the Stampin' Up! Artisans, when they're doing images like this with the detailed dies, they don't worry about punching every little, you know, piece out, and I kind of like that look. I think it's fun. It's artistic. And I figure if they do it, they're true artists, and if they do it, I can do it too, right? And you can too. You can too. All right, let me get this out here. This, like I said, this is a pretty detailed die. It's so pretty though. I'm making a mess here. I'm going to have to vacuum, I think, when I'm done with this Facebook Live. If you want to share this post, this Facebook Live, I would be appreciative, and leave me a comment. Love to hear from you. I love your comments. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you think of my card. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just this little one right here. I think that's the same one that, there we go. Okay, so let me clean this up. And I do have a trash can below me, but I most likely will have to vacuum when I'm done, so that's all right. Okay, I'm going to start again with a thick Whisper White card base. That's kind of my go-to. I love, like I said, I love neutrals. I love neutral color palettes, and so most likely when I'm making a card, I'm going to start with a thick Whisper White base. Okay, this is going to be opening this way, and my first layer will be this is already embossed with the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. This is from the Tasteful Touches suite, which is a beautiful suite, and I'm going to use more things from that suite when I make this card. So let me show you. Let me get straightened up here. It looks like I'm kind of cattywampus. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. This is like I said, it's the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. People are calling this the paper towel embossing folder. I don't know how well you can see that, but I always call it that now. I have to look to see what the real name is, but it is the paper towel embossing folder. All right, hold on here. Let me get this straightened up a little bit. Bear with me there. Okay, that looks a little bit better, I think. All right, so I'm going to take my adhesive, my seal adhesive, and you know, my trick with this is it just rolls really smoothly, and then I just click. And I am liking this. It holds really well. So that's going to go right here. Put that on first. And then the next layer will be a piece of, this is the Neutrals. It's from the Neutrals Designer Series paper stack, the 6x6 paper. And you know, it's 6x6 paper, but you can get a lot of mileage out of a 6x6 sheet of designer paper. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that. Actually, for this card, I probably could have used either side. This would have worked as well. But I like the polka dots. All right. Next part is I am going to take a piece of the linen, the braided linen trim, and I'm going to make a big loopy bow. I'm not going to tie it in the middle. I'm just going to kind of hold it together in my hand, and I want it to be pretty big, and that looks about right. So when I do this, I'm going to put this below my sunflower. So I want this to be more of a long thin bow rather than a wider loopy bow with big loops. So I'm going to kind of keep this tight like this, and I'm going to hold it in place with some glue dots. Love our glue dots, don't we? Wonder what we ever did without them. So I'll put a couple layers on there, and then I'm going to position this on my card front. And that looks pretty good, and you can still kind of finagle with it a little bit to make sure it's the way you want it to be, and that's pretty much how I want it to be. Okay, so this part then, the sunflower, is going to go on top. Now you're probably wondering why I chose a Rococo Rose sunflower. It doesn't look like a typical yellow sunflower, but I love flowers, and in my garden one of my favorite flowers are the purple cone flowers, and they're called purple cone flowers, but they're actually a pinkish shade, and this is pretty close to the shade that they are, and so that's how I picked this color scheme. Any gardeners out there that know what, I'm sure most of you know what purple cone flowers are. They're one of my favorites, so that's how I came up with this color scheme. If you want to be more traditional, of course you could change it and, you know, do this in the Crushed Curry or the Daffodil Delight. It would be beautiful. So I'm going to attach this to my card, and I'm going to use some dimensionals. Purple cone flowers they're a great flower for yellow finches, butterflies. They have a nice, I don't know if I think they call it a landing pad for butterflies. So they're a pretty addition to the garden. Okay, I'm going to take the back off of this. I'll position this over my bow. And see how that's just kind of resting below that. Okay, next I'm going to stamp on this shape, and this is from the bundle Tasteful Touches. There is a great set of dies that go with that bundle, and this is one of them. And let me show you, this is the stamp set, Tasteful Touches. Love this flower. I love this little image here, and I love the words, and I'm going to use today the You Are So Special. So, and I'm going to use Rococo Rose ink. And just stamp You Are So Special. Okay, there's that. And then I'm going to position this in place, and to do that, I'm actually going to attach it to what will be the center of my purple cone flower. So I've already cut this out. This is the center of the flower. So I'm going to just flip this upside down and take a dimensional and catch both the brown and the white edge. And then I'll also put a dimensional at the other end. And that's going to fit right over there, like that. Like that. And then to finish this card, we have these beautiful butterfly gems, and I have one pink one left. So I'm going to just pick that up and position that right there just to kind of add a little bit of an embellishment. So there's my card, and I want to show you, there's another image in the Celebrate Sunflower stamp set. It is this big, beautiful sunflower, and I'm going to bring in an envelope here and just stamp a sunflower, a big sunflower right on that envelope. That's being inked real well. You know, I probably could go off the edge a little bit. That'd probably be pretty. So I'm going to bring a piece of scrap paper in, and I'll do that just a little bit over the edge. But wait till you see how beautiful this image is. It's so detailed and pretty. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so there's card number 2. Let me bring the other one back in here as well and clean up here a little bit, get some of this stuff out of the way. And there are my 2 cards. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canton, Ohio, and if you like what you see today, all of these products are available in my online store. I'd appreciate your orders, and if you would like to shop with me, just go to lauramilligan.stampinup.net and you can shop, and I would be so grateful for your orders. And as always, thanks for joining me, and I hope that you have time to be creative today. Bye-bye, everyone.